These maps track the concentration of typhoid and cholera in urban Pakistan. The brightest points identify neighborhoods where infection rates have reached critical levels. Often, the tap water in these zones looks perfectly clear, but it carries a microscopic payload of bacteria and viruses. The primary culprit lies underground. Aging, crumbling concrete and iron pipes run dangerously close to municipal sewage lines. When pipe pressure drops, which happens frequently, cracks and faulty joints draw untreated human waste straight into the public drinking supply. Above ground, the threat compounds. For decades, agricultural chemicals, heavy metals, and industrial solvents have leached deep into the soil, quietly migrating into the aquifers that supply millions of tube wells across the country. For a nation of over 230 million people, this creates an ongoing public health emergency. A daily necessity has become a hidden hazard, driving up child mortality and draining billions of rupees from the economy in medical costs and lost productivity. Addressing a failure of this magnitude requires a shift in priorities. Azhar Amin Gill founded Gill Corporation on a strict moral baseline. Human life and health outcomes must permanently supersede commercial interest. If a cheaper filtration method compromises community safety, the company refuses to use it. Repairing a systemic infrastructure failure requires a dual strategy. It demands high-precision engineering to clean the water at the point of use, and a network of informed citizens to protect the surrounding environment. The physical pillar of this ecosystem relies on custom-calibrated filtration plants. Gill Corporation's baseline system pushes raw water through a rigorous 5-stage purification process. This cross-section shows the first 3 stages. Raw water moves downward through screens and settling tanks to remove large debris and turbidity. Then it percolates through distinct layers of anthracite coal, sand, and gravel, which trap increasingly fine suspended particles. From there, the water hits the 4th stage, activated carbon. Zooming in, you can see the highly porous structure of the carbon. A single gram has massive surface area, allowing it to chemically bind with and trap dissolved industrial solvents and pesticide residues that pass through standard physical barriers. Finally, the water is blasted with ultraviolet light. This targets the remaining biological threats, neutralizing the DNA of bacteria and viruses so they cannot replicate. It sterilizes the water completely, without adding a single drop of chlorine or chemical disinfectant. While that 5-stage process works for many areas, the dense urban zones of Pakistan present a harder problem. High levels of dissolved heavy metals require the ultimate purification tool, reverse osmosis. In an RO plant, contaminated water is forced under extreme pressure against an ultrafine membrane. The pores are roughly 0.0001 microns wide. That's small enough to let water molecules squeeze through, while entirely blocking dissolved threats like arsenic, lead, and nitrates. Because this process strips the water of virtually everything, the final step is remineralization. Calcium and magnesium are carefully added back in to restore a healthy nutritional balance and improve the taste. This multi-stage sequence strips away toxic hazards and chemically reconstructs the water, restoring its safety and nutritional profile before it reaches the community. Technology alone is insufficient. Mr. Gill recognized early on that installing an RO plant accomplishes very little if the surrounding environment continues to degrade and the local population lacks the tools to advocate for their water rights. That's why the company enforces strict environmental protocols, like their zero untreated effluent policy. This means responsibly managing the concentrated waste brine produced by RO systems, ensuring it never contributes to the ecosystem damage visible in these waterways. They are also actively integrating solar arrays into their facilities. By powering high-pressure pumps with the sun, they decouple the purification process from a national power grid still heavily reliant on fossil fuels. Beyond the facility walls, Gill Corporation builds human infrastructure. They run continuous community awareness campaigns, teaching residents how to identify local contamination risks and handle clean water safely at home. A major focus of this outreach happens in the classroom. By training youth on water safety, they build a generational shift in how neighborhoods view, protect, and advocate for their local water sources. They also specifically design programs for women who historically bear the physical and psychological labor of securing household water. Accessible filtration directly reduces the time spent on collection and the anxiety of managing waterborne illnesses in their families. The hardware solves the immediate crisis, but these empowered citizens and protected local ecosystems form the crucial software that guarantees the intervention will last. This graph tracks community disease rates, showing a sharp drop after a Gill Corporation plant goes online. Expanding the chart reveals an economic multiplier. With fewer sick days, adults work, families retain savings, and school attendance climbs. Now, Azhar Amin Gill is charting a roadmap beyond the dense urban centers. The next phase of expansion targets secondary cities and highly vulnerable rural communities where existing infrastructure is even more scarce. The company leverages its database of water quality and disease tracking to consult with national regulators. By providing government agencies with field-tested evidence on contamination sources, they are shaping new standards for municipal pipe maintenance and groundwater protection. Mr. Gill's model shows that a business can be technically elite and environmentally rigorous while prioritizing the health of the community over every other metric. Against preventable disease and infrastructure failure, safe drinking water is a baseline human necessity. Gill Corporation is proving exactly what it takes to deliver that right to an entire nation.